Before this video starts, I think I need to address a pretty big elephant in the room. About 9 months ago or so, I uploaded a video very confidently stating that Pokemon Legends ZA would release on November 20th. That is obviously wrong. I did not expect Game Freak to switch up on us and switch their release date that they've been using for the last 10 years, just out of nowhere. That's on me. I should have known that they would have done that because, it's been too long since they started doing that. Surely they gotta switch up sometime. Um, but yeah, if you watch that video and you want to point and laugh at me in front of the entire internet, I will be live tomorrow, Wednesday, October 15th, if you're watching this on the Tuesday it releases, at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you want to go point and laugh at me in the YouTube chat, I'll be live on YouTube. I'll also be live on my Twitch channel. So feel free to watch me there. Watch my first playthrough ZA. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a ZA wait room, and then, I'm going to be picking up the game at GameStop at midnight. So yeah, it'll be fun for both you and me. And now to make up for it, to make up for my egregious mistake of trying to predict when the game will release, I'm going to try to predict a bunch of megas that are coming to the game. That's right. I believe it's 21 of them. And I'm sorry if this is if I'm a little too low. It's 8 in the morning right now, and I don't want to wake anyone up. But yeah, let's get started on this little presentation that I put together for these megas that are definitely getting into the game. All 21 of them are getting into the game, trust me. Alright, so I just finished recording, and I forgot to mention that one of my friends did tell me about one leaked mega. He saw a list of the leaked megas, and he was like, dude, after Malamar was confirmed, I knew that I saw all the leaked megas on the list. So I'm like, okay, just tell me one. And he told me one. That one is not on this list. I have not seen any other leaks. I know about the one that my friend told me, but I promise it is not on this list. So first off, I picked Ariados. For the Gen 2 ones, I specifically picked ones that were in the ZA decks already that we know. So Ariados is one of those Gen 2 Pokemon in the decks, and I thought, it would make sense, because, you got, it takes place in the city. Cities have a lot of bugs in them, naturally, because they're big places, including spiders. And I think because, the nighttime is, so creepy, the atmosphere of it, I think there could be, I believe they do, boss battles against Mega Evolutions, and I think they're part of the story, rogue Mega Evolutions. So I think there could be a part in the creepy nighttime segments where you gotta hunt down this Ariados. Maybe people have gone missing and the Mega Ariados has gone rogue and started webbing people up. I don't know. But this is kind of one of those Pokemon where it really is it kind of speaks to Game Freak's initial philosophy with Mega Evolution of making weaker Pokemon stronger. Kind of like Beedrill. I think Beedrill is the perfect example of a Mega Evolution because it took something that's insanely weak and made it, I mean, not insanely strong, but it did give it some kind of use in battle, unlike regular Beedrill. So I think they could definitely do something with Mega Ariados. And then up next we've got Slowking, and honestly, well, first, it pairs with Slowbro, so that's pretty cool. And it's the only Jodomon left that isn't an evolution or doesn't already have a Mega Evolution. Yeah, well, it's the only Johto Pokemon left in the ZA Dex, and that's what I looked at for the Gen 2 Pokemon. So yeah, there's not much else for me to talk about here. Now, I've picked a few Pokemon from each gen. I picked 2 from Generation 2 because we already have, I think it's pretty obvious. I haven't seen any of the leaks, so I can't confirm for sure that Meganium and Feraligatr Mega Evolve, but I'm pretty sure they do. I think they're introducing Mega Evolutions as opposed to regional forms in this game. So they're definitely going to introduce Mega Evolutions for all of the starters, for Meganium, for Alligator, and Emboar. So that's why I picked just 2 Pokemon for Gen 2, because we already have 2 Mega Evolutions for Gen 2. That's also why I didn't pick any for Gen 1, because we already have like 6 of them revealed. And spoilers, there's only 1 Gen 6 Pokemon on here, because Gen 6 already has 2 Mega Evolutions. But anyway, going on to Gen 3, we've got, this is pretty obvious, Milotic. I want Milotic in the game just because, like, I think I've just been, like, exposed to a bunch of, like, fans who want it, and now I really want it too. And, like, you know, it's a pretty cool Pokemon. I could see it being like a bulky Stallmon, kind of, like a lot of HP, like give most of its extra 100 stats into its HP and defenses, and I think that would be really cool. And then, obviously, Flygon. I believe it was Ken Sugimori who was designing Flygon, and he said in Oraz the only reason why Mega Flygon wasn't in the game is because he got artist block. That guy has had 10 years to get rid of that artist block. He's got no excuse to not have Flygon in the game, if I'm being honest. And now, if you start looking at these, it's like, you know, the Gen 3 Pokemon, I'm pretty sure Feebas and Trapinch aren't confirmed to be in the game, but I just looked at the Hoenn, and I was like, for the rest of these gens, actually, I looked at, like, the national decks and was like, okay, what Pokemon do I want to get Megas? Like, either what Pokemon do I want to get Megas personally, or which Pokemon do I think will get Megas in the game? Like, which Pokemon will be added and get a Mega? Which is the case for Delcatty. Delcatty's not, like, one of my favorite Pokemon. I don't really think about it all that often. However, I do think, you know, you got the Scarf there. Scarf is, you know, it's a fashion thing. France is all about their fashion. So I feel like they could get Delcatty in the game and give it a Mega Evolution with, like, a giant scarf or something. I think that would be pretty cool. And now, oh my god, up next, I think is, like, the one that I want the most, probably. And that is Ambipom. I love Ambipom. Ambipom is one of my favorite Pokemon ever, and I think it would be really cool to have, like, a pre-boss fight segment where Mega Ambipom is like Spider-Man swinging from building to building with his, like, super long arms. I think that would just be really goofy. Like, Mega Ambipom isn't gonna be one of those, like, you know, Mega Lucarios or, like, Mega Tyrannitars that looks, like, super cool. It's gonna be more like a Mega Victreebel, where it's gonna look really goofy. And I think that would be so awesome to get a Mega Ambipom that just looks really goofy and just has longer arms, pretty much. And next up is Mega Chatot. I think it's like, honestly, I saw Chatot and I'm like, you know what? I just think it needs to be in the game. It needs to be in the game for, like, the city setting. You know, city's got a lot of birds, like pigeons and stuff. But, like, Chatot's, like, colorful. It'll bring some color to the city environment. I could see it, like, living on the rooftops. And honestly, for the Mega, I don't know what they would do for the Mega. I didn't think of Mega concepts for all these Pokemon, but I just think Chatot's really cool, and I think I would like it to get a Mega. This is one of those where I would personally like it to get a Mega. Also, I got one of my friends a Switch Lite a few years ago, and I'm pretty sure she hasn't touched it, but her favorite Pokemon is Chatot, so maybe if it gets a Mega, she'll actually dust that thing off and use it. Alright, now up next is Carnivine. I think, like, Carnivine is one of those Gen 4 Pokemon that's, like, super duper overlooked. And I want it to get some love, and I want it to get a Mega. Like, this is one that I really want to get a Mega. I could see it being, like, you know, this may overlap with Victreebel a little too much, but it might be Grass Poison if they want to add some variation to it. Maybe Grass Water, because it does live in the marshes, and I could see the boss fight taking place in, like, a sewer. Like, the sewer is clogged, and you find out that, like, Carnivine's, you know, vines have, like, clogged up the sewer because it's Mega Evolved, and it's too big to fit in the sewer. And now you gotta fight this, like, frenzied Carnivine in the sewers, and it's, like, grass water type, but, like, in the lore it has poison powers. Kind of like Umbreon has poison powers, but it's not a poison type. Alright, now we're on a Gen 5. Crocodile's one of those ones that's already in the game, and like this is like, as opposed to Ambipom, I think this would definitely be a Tyranitar type Mega Evolution, where it would just look really cool. And I'm thinking about like in Pokemon Champions, like singles in Pokemon Champions, like a Moxie Mega Feraligatr would be absolutely insane. Or maybe they just give it something else. Maybe they give it like Strong Jaw. I don't know. But I think this would be really cool to have in the game. Now, up next is Chandelure. I can't remember if it's already in the game or not, but I saw Chandelure, and my brain just instantly went to Phantom of the Opera, because Phantom of the Opera takes place in France, ZA takes place in France, so why not have the Chandelier Pokemon Mega Evolve into a bigger Chandelier with like all this ornate glass on it, and it like refracts the light from the fire as like laser beams to like shoot at its opponents. I think that would be super sick. And if you don't know the Chandelier from the Phantom of the Opera, I'll put it up on screen. But yeah, I think Mega Chandelure would be really, really cool as just like a huge chandelier with this glass to turn its fire into laser beams. And then for Sigilif, I think this is more the ones that, like, it's a prediction, right? Because it's like ancient, and it's like it's got this mysterious vibe, and I'm pretty sure AZ had a Sigilif in his fight at the end of X and Y. So it is possible that, you know, obviously his ace is the Eternal Flower Floette, but he might also have a Mega Sigilif as like his second to last ace almost. And I think that would be really cool. And now for our Gen 6 pick is, this might be a weird one, but I want Mega Talonflame. He's my favorite Gen 6 Pokemon. I don't care what people say. Point and laugh in the comments, because I just cannot care if you think I'm goofy for liking Talonflame. I think he's sick, and I think he not necessarily needs a Mega, but I think a Mega would be really cool on Talonflame. And now, for Gen 7, I had such a hard time making my picks for Gen 7 because it's such a specifically Hawaiian Pokédex that there are so many of them that I could not see being in Kalos. So I think these are the ones that I think would fit in Kalos the best. Starting with Bruxish. And honestly, you put it in the pond area, you're good, it's a fish. But honestly, for the Mega, you just need to like make it bigger and give it bigger teeth. That's pretty much all there is to a Mega Bruxish. I don't think they need to do anything more with it. And then we got Golisopod. I put here we need an old school Mega. We need like an old school style Mega. Like I was talking about earlier about the Tyranitars and like the Houndooms and Metagrosses. Like we need something that looks cool. Like we got Dragonite, which, I mean, Dragonite looks goofy. You can't really make Dragonite look like sick. And then obviously Victory Bell is goofy as hell. Hawlucha, I think, is the closest to a cool Mega Evolution, but I wouldn't say it's got that cool factor of, like, Mega Tyranitar or, like, Mega Salamence, you know what I mean? We need something to look like that, and the Mega Malamar's a little goofy, too. So we need, like, a true Gen 6 style, like, edgy Mega Evolution, and I think Golisopod would be able to fill that role pretty well. And again, you put it in like the water area and you're good to go. And then for Mudsdale, as the text says, we need something for the desert biome. I think Crocodile might be the only one on this list that would fit in the desert biome, and I was like, you know what? We could put Mudsdale in the desert biome. And Mega Mudsdale, maybe it loses like those ankle weights it has. Maybe it loses a lot of the hair it has, and it becomes like more of like a racehorse. I'm just coming up with this on the fly. And it gets a huge buff to its speed stat. Maybe it gets like a 50 or like 70 stat boost to its speed, and then like a 50 or 30 stat boost to its attack, and it becomes super powerful. That would be cool. Plus the stamina ability? Come on now. That would be insane. That would go really hard in doubles. And then for Gen 8, Alcremie just feels right. I don't know how to describe it, but Alcremie just feels right in Kalos. I feel like it would be a stupid decision for them not to put Alcremie in Kalos. And they already had, you know, the wedding cake Gmax Alcremie in Sword and Shield, but I think they could do something else with Alcremie. I don't know what they could do. I am not an artist, nor do I know food very well, but I think they might be able to do something. And now Phalanx is another one that's a more goofy entry. I think either the little guys here are going to get big, or we're going to have a lot more little guys. Like, we got 6 right now. We'll get like 30 for Mega Phalanx. Maybe it'll be like that Mega Kling Clang leak from like years and years ago, where it's like the Kling Clangs all formed together to form a giant mech. Maybe you get a bunch of Phalanx that form together. Like they join together and form this one giant body. That would be really funny. Mega Phalanx. I don't know if it would be that. Maybe if... I think a more realistic option would be if they just made a giant army of Phalanx instead of like joining together. But either way, it would be a really funny Mega Evolution. Now, Caparajah is one of those ones, like Ariados and, what's it called, Carnivine, where I kind of looked at it as interacting with the environment. And I wouldn't see this as a boss, I would see this as, like, you know, helping the construction workers out. Because it Mega Evolves, it gets a giant, well, it already has a giant excavator trunk, but it gets a bigger excavator trunk. And we already know that Mega Evolution is a lot more popular now than it was back in X and Y, like in-universe. Because in-universe, I'm pretty sure it wasn't a very popular thing to do. Like, not many people knew about it. So, but now, obviously, like, every trainer and their grandma has a Mega, it seems, in this game. So I feel like the construction companies could have, like, some Mega Caparajahs, or, like, the construction workers individually have, like, a Mega Caparajah or something, and it'll help them with, like, excavation. I think that could be pretty cool. And I think you guys know where I'm going with Mega Dunsparce. Just give it a 4th segment. And it literally just says it right there. We're getting right to the chase with Mega Dunsparce. We're just giving it a 4th segment, and we're ending it there. It would be peak Mega Evolution. And then Grafaiai is another one of those Pokemon where, kind of like Ambipom or Ariados, it's like, no, well, not Ambipom, but more Ariados, it's causing mischief. It's like defacing the buildings with its graffiti, and then you gotta go stop it. So I think that could be like an interesting story thing. And again, this would take place like during nighttime, like under the cover of night. This guy is sneaking around and defacing all the buildings. And then for our final Mega Evolution from Gen 9, and our final Mega Evolution prediction is Cloth. It has an insanely solid design. It's honestly surprising how solid a design Cloth has, in my opinion. However, I feel like he's just missing some kind of special sauce. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but I feel like he's missing something. But like, I think Mega Evolution could fix that. Maybe he turns into like a giant lobster monster. I don't know. Oh, maybe he could turn into like a Gmax Kingler, turn into a spider crab. That would be really cool. But yeah, it just feels like there's something missing from Cloth, and I feel like getting a Mega would fill that hole. And I think that's going to do it for my list of which Mega Pokemon I think are going to be put into Legends ZA. This is more of a predictions / wish list, depending on the individual Pokemon. So thank you guys for watching this little video that I wanted to release before ZA comes out. It releases in literally less than 2 days. I can't believe it. Um, in 2 days time I'm going to be playing ZA. I'm going to be playing it on stream, so if you want to watch it here or you want to watch it on my Twitch channel, I'll have my Twitch linked in the description if you want to go there and watch. But yeah, we'll be live at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I hope to see you guys there.